This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
It's Thursday, September 17, and this is your Barbados Today afternoon update. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. It's back to work for striking workers at the Central Bank. The employees returned to their posts this morning after the Barbados Workers Union General Secretary, Tony Moore, held brief talks with them on the outside of the Tom Adams Financial Center. The Central Bank revoked the appointment, which triggered the protest, and the bank and the union are to meet on a later date for talks. The decision comes hours after the BWU got the nod from its executive to intensify industrial action against the country's top financial institution. The workers had been off the job since Friday, protesting the intern's promotion, as well as a number of other grievances. Police seized over 1,000 cannabis plants in 2 communities yesterday. According to Acting Superintendent of Police David Welch, the drug squad, along with the Tactical Response Unit, during a drug eradication exercise, found 945 plants in Coffee Gully, St. Joseph. The plants, which were being cultivated in a dense bushy area, ranged from 1 to 9 feet in height. 155 cannabis plants were also found in Britain St. Philip, some as much as 6 feet tall. Those were also found in a bushy area. No one has been arrested so far. Those charged in connection with a spate of robberies in the country are expected to appear in court today. The 9, including a woman, are charged with a number of offences, including aggravated burglary, robbery, the illegal possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition, wounding and handling of stolen property. They will answer the charges in connection with the robberies committed at Sol Service Station in Redmond's Village, St. James, Tapas Restaurant in Hastings, Curbside in Prior Park, St. James, and AC Security Services Limited in Barbarians Hill, St. Michael. Barbadians are being urged to insure their properties. The advice from Chief Executive Officer of the Financial Services Commission, Randy Graham. Speaking against the backdrop of the devastation in Dominica, Graham told Barbados Today that insurance was the best tool in maintaining stability in the economy.
Our colleagues in Dominica are talking about billions of dollars in damage already from that one catastrophe. And you have to ask the question, when you have all this damage, where does the money come from to rebuild? If you don't have the money domestically to rebuild, it means that the financial system goes into instability, not because of some recession, it's because of a natural catastrophe, which Barbados we are also susceptible to. Now, the tool that we have found best to diversify that risk and create maintain the stability rather in the system after catastrophe has been insurance. Insurance comes in after the event, after the damage, and provides the capital to rebuild and to create a stability back into the system. By putting the money back into the system, that we can develop and be up and running again faster, reduces the impact on the negative impact on possibly on the GDP and so on.
He says it will also make it easier for individuals to rebuild.
In Barbados right now, maybe the saturation points in the uptake of insurance are too low, and we need to encourage more Barbadians to purchase more insurance so that if we do get a natural catastrophe, we get circumstances where the insurance companies now respond to policies that they have issued and bring capital back into the system for the rebuild. This is very important, and in Barbados this is an opportune time probably to buy insurance, because this is the longest soft cycle that we've seen for many years, and premiums in Barbados are all-time low, and across the Caribbean. Because of the soft cycle and because of the access to the insurance, we have very low property insurance premiums. This then therefore would suggest that this is a good time for Barbadians to buy an insurance policy to cover their property. What that does is, when you have the catastrophe, if you do have a catastrophe, that policy responds. You don't have to face the bank for the loan to rebuild. The government doesn't have to seek expansive amounts of foreign aid to redevelop, and the Barbados economy can be functioning in a shorter possible time.
Minister of Industry and International Business, Donville Innes, is urging local manufacturers to ensure that their products are of international standards. Addressing yesterday's launch of the Going Global Export Initiative, Innes insisted that businesses needed to focus on manufacturing higher quality products for export.
Local producers must be positioned to manufacture goods in the expected quantities and quality standards required within the target markets. It must be remembered that despite government-driven promotion initiatives, there's not a lot one can achieve unless there are companies with the capacity to supply the market. And quite often we find ourselves getting companies ready to go into the marketplace. We generate leads for them. They may make the first shipment, and then afterwards you hear, well, we can't make the second one. We have a huge demand locally. The export market is going to have to be. Ladies and gentlemen, there must be consistency in quantity and quality of products if you are ready to make a dent and make serious improvements in our export drive from.
In sports, this Sunday's Mud Dogs September Safari promises to be a truly challenging event for the crews if the recent heavy rains continue in the coming days. It's round 4 of 5 in the 2015 calendar, which draws to a close in November. 13 crews are confirmed, with most of the leading contenders for the overall and the novice titles are on the list.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
On the regional scene, Jamaican nurses are back on the job today after 2 days of protest. The decision was taken following an emergency meeting with the Nurses Association of Jamaica, the Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Health. The healthcare providers have been protesting the delay in receiving retroactive monies from the reclassification of the health sector. Over in Cuba, 9 Jamaican prisoners are among hundreds pardoned and are expected to return to Kingston in the next few days. The 9, including a woman, were among 9 Jamaicans behind bars in Cuba for various crimes such as drug possession and trafficking. The releases are part of Cuba's goodwill gesture ahead of Pope Francis's visit this weekend. And in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro signaled plans to extend a state of emergency to another 10 municipalities on the border with Colombia. The president says the move is part of a crackdown on crime near the border, where smugglers and rebel groups are active. Internationally, at least 8 people are dead and 1 million more had to evacuate after an 8.3 earthquake hit Chile, setting off tsunami waves and alerts as far away as California.
As with these kind of earthquakes, especially those deep under the sea, it's the following 3 or 4 hours that are critical. Now, this was a massive earthquake, about 8.3 on the Richter scale, and such was the size of the earthquake. There's the tsunami warning is now not just been issued for Chile itself and its 4,000-kilometer coastline, but Ecuador, Peru, Southern California, Hawaii, and as far west as New Zealand, right across the other side of the Pacific. So the next couple of hours are going to be pretty critical and crucial. If those big waves do start coming ashore in South America, then people on the other side of the Pacific will start to get worried as well. Chile has a long history of earthquakes. Thousands of people have been killed ever since they started keeping records. As recently as 2010, 500 people were killed when a tsunami hit southern Chile after an earthquake.
And that's news and sports, but be sure to join us again for another update this evening. Until then, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on iZone Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also, tune in to Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM for all the latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good afternoon.